I think a lot of people sometimes they'll let that one person stop them, or they'll let that one critique stop them to keep posting. If I had stopped, I would not be getting Instagram deals now. I would not be happier getting business the way that I am. You cannot let that one roadblock stop you.
All right, welcome to a new episode of Real Estate vs. Technology. Can you believe it? We're at 502 episodes. Big shout out to our sponsor, Liftoff Agent, and the team behind the scenes for doing all the editing and the production of the podcast itself. Let's go ahead and bring the one and only Jen Bolin. Welcome, Jen, and how is your morning going?
I am doing great. Hi, everyone. How's everyone going? I'm back. How's it going? Where's your favorite coffee place? I got my coffee rush today, so...
I literally just did a pre-workout and I was feeling a little low on energy and I'm like, my face is numb. Well, I'm like, oh, holy cow. So Jen,
oh my gosh.
So who do we have today? I know you found someone who's crushing it on social media, and she is definitely changing the norm from like the traditional side of like door knocking and kind of like the stuffy cold calling and door knocking and that type of thing, and stepping into the new era, which we've been in for a while, but she makes it so simplistic. And she's in the luxury market. She's in Vegas, correct?
Yes, she is in Vegas. She is amazing. Like,
all
I
right,
love everything about her. She is authentically herself. She is no longer a people pleaser, for sure.
Let's go.
She just shows up as her best self. And I would love to introduce everyone to Celina Go.
Let's go.
Yay. Aw, you guys are so sweet. Hi.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you. I appreciate you guys for having me.
Of course. I think that, individuals like yourself deserve to have like a shine moment, right? And to give you the opportunity to leverage our platform to inspire more people out there to say, hey, you don't need to overcomplicate things. Just get on camera. I mean, some of the stuff that you're doing, it's like you're going to go get a smoothie anyways. Why not get a 30-second, 15-second clip, add some music, and literally put some text over it? It doesn't need to be this huge orchestrated, process. And so welcome on. We're really excited to get into your backstory and all things about you. And I think the first question to kick this show off is do you come from like a background in real estate from your parents, or are you the first in your lineage to get into the real estate world?
So that's a great question to start off with. Here, there's two parts to that question that I hear. The first part is my mom was an investor in real estate, and she also had inherited properties from her mom. So she had a couple properties. My mom told me, why don't you become a realtor? Why don't you do it? Because at the end of the day, if you don't do good, at least I have a couple properties that I need to sell and you'll get the commission from. Now, what I don't like about that question is not the way that you asked, but when people ask me like locally, I feel like locals want something to be like, that's the reason for her success. You get what I'm saying? And that's what I felt traumatized from people in my circle, is that they would say, oh, it's just because of her mom. Like, no, the 100 homes I've sold was not because of my mom. Maybe like 4 of them, So yeah, that's the answer to the question.
Well, shout out to moms. She gave you a little taste of it. And actually that makes a whole lot of sense to get your real estate license for individuals out there that want to get into duplex, fourplex, owning doors. Why not represent yourself, especially if you can navigate and the process and learn it, and then be able to negotiate, save on the commission.
Right.
Put that towards closing costs.
Right.
Totally makes sense. I have a question for you. How did you, other than the investment side, how did you get into the business of real estate as well too? Like what did the timeline look like?
Yeah. So the reason that my mom brought up real estate was because I got laid off from my job and I was working in the service industry on the Las Vegas Strip. And in Las Vegas, serving is like a glorified job. So people would be like at 10 years old, like, I want to be a server at Encore Beach Club. Like that's like the road to success here. We're very outward focused, not inward. We're 48th in education. And that's like what people want to do. Like, I want to be a server. You can make 6 figures. You can make a great living. So I was a hostess. And you start off as a hostess and then you climb this, not corporate ladder, but serving ladder. So I started as a hostess. I got laid off. And the way that I learned my hustle was actually from like hustling the doors at the bars that I used to work at. So I would tell them, I would say, look, if you tip me $100 or $20, your minimum would be $500, but now it's $200 or something like that. So that's how I learned how to read people. That's how I learned to not be afraid that like, okay, money is money. And I want money, you know, and if I'm going to make my company, if I'm going to make who I'm working for money, I also want money as well. Now that wasn't the way to do it. I had a bad Yelp review written about me. Ooh. And it was bad because she was like, this girl started off really sweet at first. And then she, you know, made us tip her. And so then I got laid off. That's how it started. So it was the layoff and then my mom, and then boom, real estate.
Wow. You know, what's funny, I just wanted to add to that because I used to actually do nightclub security and then I got into nightclub promotion. And during that time, definitely being a bouncer at the front door, that comes up as far as like, hey, can you get me in front of the line or whatever else and so on and so forth. So I definitely understand. And hey, kudos to you for basically taking that opportunity to be like, let me run with this, which was technically a blessing in disguise anyways, because now you're crushing it in your career now.
Yeah, it's just hustling for a different, you know, thing.
Yeah, for sure. Wow, that's freaking cool. I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Okay, now, how did you get your first transaction?
So my first transaction, my fiance was in the market to buy a home. It was in 2020 when the interest rates were really low, and it just so happened. But let me tell you, my fiance, I'm not analytical. I mean, I can look at numbers and act like I know what I'm saying, but he is so analytical. He honestly, obviously he just went for me because like you can't go with anyone else, but like he was a hard person to work with because I'm more extroverted. He's more introverted. He's more analytical, numbers driven. And this was like his first his first house ever. And he's like, like he was so worried. Like knowing him now, like I know how worried he probably was. Like, I don't know what my fiance is doing.
Oh my God.
First deal.
And how did you guys meet? I'm curious.
We met in high school.
Okay. Yeah. High school sweethearts. Congratulations.
No, we were not high school sweethearts. We met in high school and then we dated 3 years after we met in high school, but that's where we met.
You could have fooled me.
Right. I'm like, oh, that's so cute. Like, that's adorable.
I love that. And at what point did you start to get to like, so you went through that transaction and at what point we were like, all right, let's go all in on like, say like Instagram and social media?
So I actually didn't start Instagram all in until about like 7 months ago, 8 months ago.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Interesting. So you were doing the traditional business and then 7, 8 months ago, like was there a light bulb moment? Like what was that catalyst to be like, all right, we're going in this direction?
Right. So I was at a previous brokerage and they didn't allow for a space where you could be creatively different, where you didn't have to fit into a box. And so I couldn't do what I'm doing now because they would say, you can't post that, you can't do that. That doesn't align with where we are and who we are as a brand, right? And I said, okay, if it doesn't align, let me go somewhere else, because it was getting to a point where they would call me frequently and just say, hey, like, can you take that post down? This, you can't do that. You can't do that. And so I was like, I'm kind of tired of hearing this all the time now. Like, it's me and I want to leave. And so I couldn't post until like 8 months ago. And that's why that's why a lot of my story is about being authentically yourself, because I was trying to be authentic, went on Instagram, but I couldn't. So I was caged. And then when I left, that's why I could post consistently, do what I'm doing now. And that's why I'm so passionate about it, because I believe that when you're authentically yourself, you will find the right people.
Yeah. Your vibe creates your tribe, right? There's that saying, life happens to you or happens for you. I would like to look at it as a positive, right? Like, oh, it happened, happened for you for a reason, right? And that's crazy that brokerage did that. And have you had any, to like the second part to that question, has anyone from the brokerage or the brokerage itself like ever came back and reached out to you, or do they follow you now, or are they like,
oh, they follow me and they still complain? But it's crazy because I left the brokerage to be able to do these videos and they're still complaining. Yeah.
Wow.
So in other words, they didn't want you to be you.
I mean, if that's what you're getting from it, I guess.
Yeah.
You said it, not me.
Yeah. But still, like, you are just like an awesome like person as it is. Like kudos to you that you decided to be like, hey, well, you know what? I'm going to leave because I want help. And I know there's a lot of people that actually really struggle with that.
Yeah, and I think to touch on your point, had I stayed there, my following wouldn't have grown. Had I stayed there, I would have been caged by my own thoughts to think that what I was doing was wrong, and it wasn't wrong. It just doesn't align with where I was at. But I was starting to think, because of the way they were, because of what was happening, that it's me who's wrong. But I'm like, this isn't wrong. It just doesn't align with the brand. Like, okay, so let me take myself out of there. But I think a lot of people, sometimes they'll let that one person stop them, or they'll let that one critique stop them from to keep posting because someone said their stories were annoying, or because someone made a rude comment. And it just goes to show that if I had stopped, I would not be getting Instagram deals now. I would not be happier getting business the way that I am. Like, you cannot let that one roadblock stop you. Yes, it sucks, but I think it just comes with the territory. I'm a polarizing person. You either like me or you don't. And if you don't like me, you can unfollow me, and that's it. You know, if I don't like something, I'm gonna unfollow you. That's it. Like, I'm gonna be me. And
did the brokerage even have, like, were they even like going viral? Did they have good views? Like, did they even have a road model that like a roadmap that actually worked? You know what I'm saying? If they're gonna tell you like you can't do something, do they even have something to say here's a proven model? This is what we even want you to do. Do they even have that?
They would just say you can't say anything like political, you can't talk negative, you can't talk negatively about a situation, you can't talk about the transaction that you're dealing with, you can't talk about certain things, and like we're not, like, basically in so many words, like, we're not funny, we're not this, we're not that, we're professional.
Wow. All the things that get views.
Right. All the things that I was doing. They were like, don't do that, but let's not say her name. You know what? It's just,
Yeah, no, for real. No, it definitely makes a lot of sense. Wow.
Awesome. All right. So now here's my question for you. Once you left that brokerage, and this one, like, I'm going to gear it towards like newer agents for you. Let's say you were very upset with the brokerage and going through all of this. How did you know that your new brokerage was the one for you? Like, what were some green flags that you realized that was like, that's the one, that's where I want to be, that's on brand for me?
That's a great question. So I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm very forward, I'm very direct, and I'm very blunt. I came to my broker and I said, these are all the videos that my brokerage complains about. Are you okay with this? I just started like that. Because if you're not okay with, I'm moving to the next one to find where I'm okay with.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, that's totally fine. Like, I'm okay with that. And so I was like, that was the first green flag. Second green flag was that he was younger. So he's 40 years old. And my previous broker, I don't want to, okay.
We're unleashed. It's good. Like, we don't know the person. So
he was old. He
was more than 60 years old. I don't know if it's 70s, 80s, 90s. I'm kidding.
Okay.
But he was old. And so when my broker said, okay, yes, you can post that, I was like, first green flag. Second green flag, he was younger. So he understands the mentality of being younger. Third, he's had success for the last 10 years in the luxury space. So when he was about 30, he was already starting to see success. So he could relate a lot to my story because I'm 27. So that was another green flag. Fourth was he has the business that I want. And I think that was the differentiator between my last brokerage and this broker, was that the people at my where I previously was, they had the business that I wanted, but it was more volume than larger price points, lower numbers. And there's no right or wrong with either or, but I wanted to attach myself to a vehicle that aligned in all areas. So age, being able to post videos, having the business that I want. And then also my broker is listing heavy, which is where I really want to be. And so it just all aligned. So if I was starting new and I wanted to find a brokerage, I would ask, what are the splits? What are you going to do for me? How often are we going to meet? Are you going to give me leads, or am I going to have to do leads on my own? Are you an extrovert or are you an introvert? Because if you're an extrovert and I'm an introvert, you're not going to want to do open houses. You're not going to want to do anything that has to do with meeting people. So stay in the lanes that you succeed in. You can be an introvert in this business, but if you're attached to a vehicle that's extroverted business, networking, social, you're not going to like real estate. So everything has to align for you is what I would say.
I love that.
I really love that because it comes back to, like, for me, it's coming up as in be still your authentic self and surround yourself with people that are literally just like you to help you.
Exactly.
Yeah. And for viewers and listeners out there, I think those are some good cliff notes to take when you go through the process and look for identify the right brokerage that's going to fit your specific needs. And at the end of the day, like, there's lots of options. Like you already said, you don't have to stay at one. You could just on to the next.
Mm-hmm. And I think just touching on that point as well, like in real estate, we always think like, I don't want to leave the brokerage. I've been here for 10 years. It works. Or I've been here for 2 months. I need to stay for at least a year. Like if it doesn't feel right, it's business. It's not personal. Leave. Like you don't need to stay where you don't feel aligned to. And I think I needed to take my own advice because I overstayed. And if it doesn't feel right, it's business. This isn't a personal decision. This isn't against your broker. This isn't against, it's business and what's best for you. What's best for you to succeed? Are you going to stay somewhere for 6 more months or 7 more months where you're not happy because you don't want to hurt someone's feelings, because you don't want to let someone down, because you don't want to have a difficult conversation that this isn't working? Like, no, have the conversation and find the place that aligns with you.
I love how forward you are. And I just want to say as a cliff note, like, because you're so forward, I feel like that has a huge reason why you're so successful. Because like you ask for the business, you go out there and get it done. Like, you're unapologetically you. And I think that's very attractive. Now, for some, right? And for others, maybe not so much, but from someone who's dealing with like luxury or a higher price ticket from a home perspective, these are going to be executive CEOs, people that have money. And I could tell that like you would be like we'll just say it as it is, no bullshit type of person. Right. And it's like, this is what it is. This is what it's going to take. And this is what we need to do to get it done. And so that's where I feel like whoever's doing and listening, you got to take notes on that, because that's what's going to help move the needle forward for having more success. Because it seems like, and my question to you that ties into what I just said, it seems like when it comes to like, I know a lot of people have problems with self-limiting beliefs, right? They think in their head about, why me, or that they play the victim card, or, I can't do what Celina Go does because she's this, she's that, whatever. Like, how have you checked, or have you ever had an issue with any self-limiting beliefs so you can keep moving forward and get past, anything as far as self-limiting beliefs talk, and then just keep moving forward?
Yeah, I think that I've had a lot of self-limiting beliefs, and you wouldn't believe it, but when I was 23 years old, I started very young in the business. I'm 27 now. I've been in it for 4 years. When I was starting, because I was a server, I had friends that were doing better than me. And I was always the one that was like working for tips or working for this. So as I started, I was the first one to do my own business. Like I was like, okay, I'm going to do my own business. So all my friends, they never had their own business. So when I first started getting business and getting traction, I would like hear comments that people would make, and I would internalize them, and I wouldn't be my authentic self because I was like, I don't want to shine, because if I shine, then I'm going to make others dim. Or I'm like, that was the kind of group that I was in at the time. And so I think it was a self-limiting belief because I didn't want to believe that it was me who got the business. It was me that who they're trusting. It was a 23-year-old me. Like they could go to a 50-year-old, they could go to a 60-year-old. Like I didn't believe in myself. And so I think that I did have a lot of self-limiting beliefs, but I think what stopped I don't know what I'm trying to think, like, where did I make this shift of like, no, it's not, it's me. It's not because of any of these other reasons. Like, it's not because of my mom. It's not because of like all of these things, but I don't know. I honestly, let's go back to that. I don't know what changed for me to be like, it's because of me and I'm going to believe in myself. I don't know what changed.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that's a great question to ask all of ourselves, whoever's viewing and listening. I feel like there is like that catalyst where it's like, okay, I don't really care. And it's like, I don't know if it's like, for me, maybe it's like a little like, as soon as you get a little taste of success, or you start to get past like, the, oh, can I pick up the phone and film? And then you do, and then maybe a little bit of success from that. Then it's just like, oh, I'm going to keep going. And I don't know. I do feel like on my end, it's like a momentum thing. As you start to have that momentum, it's like ride that wave type of thing, you know? But yeah, I love how you said like the people you were around was more so made you feel that like the success that you wanted to have wasn't really yours to have, because it would dim their light. But at the end of the day, you got to be around people that are like, good, let's go, Celina, you got this, like you're crushing it, you know, and those people that lift you up instead of want to bring you down, because they're the ones that have the self-limiting beliefs that they can't even get past.
Yes, no. And I think as you're speaking, I'm kind of like reflecting on, so I think it started with my personal life, like the people around me would dim my light. Then it was brokerages that would dim me, right? And so now I'm like, like it's me, and that's why I think I'm very authentically myself. I'm very loud about my success, not loud in a cocky way, but like, how are people going to know you're selling homes if you're not telling them? If they don't know you're a realtor, how are they going to know you're a realtor? Like that if you're a secret agent, or if you're afraid to post on social media, like we'll talk about that next. But yes, I think self-limiting beliefs, you waste so much time thinking to yourself that you can't do something, or think all of this time you could be cold calling, you could be going getting a deal, you could be making a video, like stop wasting so much time. And I think we only have so much time. And if I'm not getting business, I'm not going to be like, that's the one thing I want to focus my time on, not putting myself down.
Yes.
And on top of self-limiting beliefs, I believe in giving myself grace. I'm allowed to make mistakes. I'm human. I don't think I need to know it all. I also feel like with self-limiting beliefs, like a lot of people talk to themselves very negatively, where you have to talk to yourself like if someone could hear you. Like talk to yourself like a friend. Be gentle on yourself. Like that is, I think, where I am. Like I don't talk to myself negatively. Like I talk to myself like if I was speaking out loud. Like would I say this to a friend? No. Then why am I going to say that to myself?
Oof.
Like, right?
Golden nugget. Hell yeah.
Yes. No, I give myself grace. Like I talk to myself very kindly. I'm hard on myself. I'm hard on mistakes. I'm hard on what could have I done better, but I'm not like I'm the worst agent. No one likes me. Like I can't make it in this industry. There's 18,000 agents. Like what's different about me? Or I don't talk to myself like that. No.
I love it.
Yeah, no, that's really awesome. I want to know, how do you, or what advice do you have for someone that is scared to go start their social media? Let's start from there.
You have to take the approach of documenting and not creating. You're not Steven Spielberg. You are not trying to create a movie that's going to be played in the cinemas. You are just trying to show your life and your perspective. I would just dumb it down right there. Document over creating. That's it. Like
very simple.
Document over create. You're just taking your phone out throughout different parts of your day, saying your opinion on things, and saying how you feel, saying, this isn't the norm in the industry, like saying how you feel. And some people are they'll document, but then they're like everyone else, right? They're like, okay, yeah, I am documenting, but I'm not showing really what my opinions are, what my perspectives are, how I view the world, how I see the world. What if I'm in the middle and, I don't want to ruffle any feathers? Well, you have to stand for something if you want people to be attracted to you.
Yes.
Because I'll tell you, there's only one of me, but if you want someone who's just listed, just sold, baby, there's 18,000 of them. You know what I mean? And if you want that, you can go look on Instagram. You'll find a lot of them.
I love that. Now, 100% agreed. That's where I feel the stories have so much, like, there's the know, like, trust. And then we at the Liftoff Agent side that sponsored our show talks about parasocial relationships. And like, if you think about someone like Ryan Serhant, everyone feels that they know him, but they don't really know him. And so it's a parasocial relationship happening here. And then you see a lot of individuals getting onto like now YouTube and showing areas and so on and so forth and building these relationships, just like what they're doing with your Instagram. Right. And that's where I feel like documenting and putting things on stories is so powerful. Like that's where I met my wife. And my wife has a joke and she's like, oh, if I ever need to know where my husband is, just watch his stories. because my story is, I'm always posting on stories of what I'm doing.
Right.
But then you bring in this audience, and it's amazing how many people will follow you and watch every single day. And then now it's like a habit becomes a new norm. And then now it's like, they're looking forward to watching your stories and what you're going to put out there next.
Exactly. And I think to kind of go off your point, not only like do the stories help with your day-to-day, but because I feel like I am a forward person in person, but on social media, I kind of step into a character. Like, I'm like, okay, who do they want to see? What does the audience want to see? Okay, they like when I'm like aggressive. They like when I'm negotiating. They like when I'm standing up for people. They like that. So I kind of like amplify it on social media. I am that same person here. But the reason that social media is so amazing is because the way that I'm aggressive online, my clients expect that from social media. So now I'm like, okay, if you're expecting it, you got to lower the price. Like, and normally I'm not like that, but because they're used to a direct person, a blunt person, someone who's like forward, they see that on social media. Now I can put that like in the situations when, hey, you really like this house, you're going to need to make an offer. Like there's no time, like it's not coming off as whoa, because they already know what to expect. So I think that that's where social media is very good. It just makes you into this person where you can just be whoever you want to be.
Yeah. You craft yourself, and then that's how your buyers and sellers now expect you to be. So then you can be like, hey, look, I'm going to show up as the best person for myself. So here's my question for you. Let's say that I was, I don't know, a buyer or a seller. Mm-hmm. And I find you on Instagram.
Right.
What would be the process that you would want me to go through in order to have a meeting to get in front of you, so then I can say, hey, look, I want to buy this house, or I want to buy a house in Vegas, or I want to sell my house? What would be that process from start to finish?
So from start to finish, I feel like you watch my stories and like know what you're like, know who you're dealing with, know what you're expecting. And if you find me like funny, if you find me vocal, if you find me easygoing, or if you find me someone who's good at showing like the good and the bad, not always like highlights, I would say like we're a vibe and we're a match. And so I would say to DM me, just DM me. That's all you have to do is just say, hey, I'm interested in purchasing in Las Vegas. DM me and I'll take it from there.
So it's just simple DM, don't have to call you, don't have to text, don't have to do extra research, like just DM me.
Yeah, DM me.
That's awesome. And then you basically handle like next steps, questions, answers, whatever they're going through. You give them that like red carpet service, and then kind of find out what's next.
If they DM me, I'm going to book a consultation. Like we're going to meet in person, or we're going to meet through Zoom. Like that's the next step after that. I'm straight to the point. Okay, like let's meet in person.
I love that. That. And so when you go into the social media portion, like, are you more like a feeling, like when you post throughout the day, for viewers and listeners out there, are you like, hey, let's put together a content calendar? Or you're like, hey, I just go with the vibe of the day and whatever kind of vibes out for you that day? Or if you're going to broker's tour, you're going to open house, or whatever it is, that's when you get inspiration to post. How do you navigate your content?
So the way that I navigate my content is I have like a routine. Like, okay, if I'm going to get my coffee, if I'm going to drive, like I just have to bring the phone out. If something happens to me throughout the day where I have a thought, like today I was like, I complained about my coffee today, and I posted a story like, do you guys complain about coffee, or do you guys accept the drink, right? And so I think I just did a poll, yes or no, and then with the polls, I'm able to start conversations with people on the side of like, oh yeah, I complain about coffee too, or no, why don't you complain about coffee? And so it's finding things to connect with besides outside of real estate, right? So now we're talking about coffee complainers, or we have common ground about coffee complainers, or if you don't complain about coffee, like why not? It just starts conversation. And so it's any time that I have a feeling of like, like this is an interesting perspective. Like, do you complain about coffee or not? And when I'm going to showings, I just take my camera out, and then just anytime, okay, we saw this house and it was really dirty, or we saw this house and, there was a cockroach, or things like that are out of pocket, but that's just kind of who I am. I'm more out there. So that's what I think. But if I was someone who is not out there, you don't have to be out there to achieve success. You just have to be yourself.
Yeah.
What is your coffee complaining? What is your cockroach? What is your, and it could be like, it doesn't need to be, like I said, out of pocket. It could just be like, this doorknob is pretty. I haven't seen this doorknob in a long time, or got my morning coffee and it was really good. It doesn't need to be crazy or negative. It just needs to be you.
I love that. So adding on to that question, from you posting the coffee, for example, or any type of post similar to that causes a conversation, what like ratio have you actually generated a closed transaction from something as simple as asking a question about coffee, and do you complain about it, that actually turned into a transaction? I'm just curious.
I haven't been there yet, but from my content that has converted, people just reach out to me. Like when I looked at Vegas Realtor, you were the top one. I really resonated with your stories and you're the most similar to me. So I'm going to send you a deal. The largest transaction I've closed from Instagram is actually today. Woohoo. It's $1,000.
Nice.
So, from Instagram.
Wow.
Hey.
Talk about ROI.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just someone DMing you too and being like, hi, we would love to work with you.
Yeah. I'm like, I'd love to work with you too.
I love that. That's awesome. And when you do the postings, do you ever get like clients involved? Have you ever tried going in that direction, whether it's like kind of like maybe a skit, client testimonial, or a vibe like that?
Yeah. So I actually, I always ask like, are you okay with being posted? And if they say no, I'm like, okay, well, can you talk about your experience with me? Can you say, it's like the new Zillow review. It's like, can you actually say it? Because I feel like when people can see that you're touching different clients, different groups, analytical, shy, Asian, white, black, whatever it is, they're talking about her. You know, it's pretty powerful, I think, when you can get your client to talk about you.
Interesting. Would you say that your Instagram or Instagram in general for viewers and listeners is like the 21st century CRM system?
I would say so. Yes.
Right? Because you could post, you could DM, you could have conversations, you could see who's watching your stories. I think it's probably one of the best creations and probably the best social platform outside of even like TikTok, because it's hard to like DM and message people, or Snapchat. I mean, Facebook's for a little bit older demographic. I definitely am right there with you on that. And it's amazing how powerful it is. Like that's how Jen and I got connected.
Right. Jen, your wife, you met your wife through Instagram, like through Instagram story. Like it's a crazy like tool for connection. And now I'm kind of taking this perspective too of, if I see you liking my stuff, if I see you like liking my tips or tricks, or you're popping up on my story, like I know you're gonna buy or sell. So now I'm gonna DM you and I'm gonna say, I'm gonna shoot my shot. I see you liking a couple of the stuff that a home buyer or a home seller would like. Are you interested in purchasing or selling within the next year? I'll like make it long so it's not so like in the next month. And I've gotten a lot of traction from that too.
Interactive CRM.
That's awesome.
Genius. Wow.
Yeah. If you see them liking your stuff, there's a reason. There's a reason they're on your page.
Yeah.
You're not on a real estate page because you want to cook. Like you're on a real estate page because you want to buy or sell, you know, like you're here, you're watching my content, like, okay, I'm going to shoot my shot.
I just want a coffee.
Yeah.
It's like, I just wanted to complain about this coffee with you.
Yeah. Well, you got Jen buying coffee this morning.
I know. Thank you, Jen.
I was like, I got to get coffee because I'm going to go see Celina. It's like, she always gets her coffee every single morning. So I was like, I'm going to go get it.
But Jen, you're new to the industry, right?
I am. I've only been in for about like 4 years, but I was in the classroom. I was still teaching for like 11 and a half years. So this past May, I was actually able to stop teaching and now go full in for real estate too. So.
And what was the change? Congratulations. What did you do to be able to go full in?
I honestly just had it enough. Like I had it enough with teaching as it is, because my health started to go down. I started to get migraines, and I was like, I just think I need a change of an environment and do something completely different. And long story short, I actually didn't get into teaching for myself. So I was like very excited. I was like that little kid inside, like, oh my God, I finally get to choose something that I want to do. And that's why I got to go straight into real estate.
That's awesome. And what do you think has been the most challenging part of getting into real estate?
Probably just rewiring myself, honestly, like being like, okay, who am I? Because I put my identity so much on teaching itself and just like knowing how to serve kids and knowing like how to relate to kids, that I felt like I need to, okay, who am I as an adult? And what do I like? What do I not like? And let me just say it out and be my authentic self and be like, I don't give a crap, guys. Like, this is who you get, kind of a deal.
Don't have kids watching you anymore. Maybe you do. Maybe you do.
Some of them probably still follow me because they're like, oh my God, Miss Bull's going to be famous. Like, she's going to get on like podcasts and this and that. So like, I do still have some kids that do follow me. And some of my students also are like, when I grow older and I graduate from high school, it's like, I'm going to go into real estate. I'm like, do it while you're young. Cause like, do it while you're young. Because then when you get to my age, cause I'm not even that old, I'm like 32. And I was like, when you get to my age, you will already be successful. I was like, so just do it right out of the bat if you want to. So
I love that. Do you think it's hard to show up authentically?
Here and there, honestly, because I personally feel like I have like two parts of me. Like I can be the super bubbly side and be like, oh my God, like, yay. I think it's my ADHD side. And then the other side, I'm like, oh my God, no, like we got to get down to business. Like this is how it's going to be, and be that direct self too. And I'm very analytical and I can be very like introverted too. So I'm learning how to be extroverted, because like the more I'm in the industry, I'm like, hey, I have to be out and about. I have to go to these places because I need to break my introvert self to evolve to this Gen 2.0.
Yeah.
Do you think you need to be introverted? Do you think you can get success being introverted though, or no?
Yeah, I totally think so, because honestly, one of my first deals that I actually had in real estate was because I was introverted, and I just randomly put up a post on Facebook and I got my first lead out of that. And the funny story is like maybe 6 months before then, I was telling one of my mentors, I'm like, oh my God, I really want to do a new home build. Like I want to go through that whole entire process. Like how cool would it be to see a house get built from dirt all the way to the end? And 6 months ago, I got a deal that literally let me do that. And the funny story was that the day we went to go look at homes was Mother's Day. And that client was like, oh, we don't want to take away from your Mother's Day. We can go on another day. I'm like, no, we're going. Let's go. It's like, you want to give me a Mother's Day gift? Let's go look at some houses. It was really awesome for sure.
And Jen actually, she's Native American, and she comes from a tribe. And so she actually is one of the first cycle breakers in her family to get out from being in a tribe, living in the dirt with like no running water, no AC, no nothing. She was actually on our other show we have called the Liftoff Experience around personal development. And she cycle break that. And then she went from that to a 9-to-5 teaching. And then now she's cycle breaking that to go to full-time entrepreneur.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's a full circle moment.
Yeah, it is, because like I always tell people, I'm like, because they'll be complaining about something like, oh my God, it's too hot, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, back on the reservation, it's like, we didn't have no AC. It's like, we didn't have this. Or
let me tell you.
Yeah.
Sometimes my husband says this. He doesn't say it often anymore, but he'll be like, why are all the lights on in the house at night? Like, turn off some of them. You don't need all of them. And then I would tell him, it's like, it makes sense. I was like, I want you to see from my perspective. It's like, I literally grew up with no electricity. It's like, imagine me like being in first grade, second grade, getting my pencil sharpened with a knife and then sitting next to a kerosene lamp to do my homework.
Right, exactly.
And he's like, wait, I didn't think about it like that. I'm like, yeah, it's just all about like how you see things. I'm like, to me, like electricity is a luxury. And I'm like, oh my God, like I can turn on the light whenever I want to.
Right.
I love that.
So,
I love that.
It's awesome.
That's super cool. No, and that's where it's like, I think Jen is awesome, and she's on the road to massive success with what she does. And, we're grateful to have her to start helping us with the podcast as a co-host here. And she's also helping us behind the scenes on the Liftoff Agent side that sponsors the show. And we want to see her be able to have more success. And so she's been finding amazing guests. That's why we got Celina on the show today, to be able to help our viewers and listeners. Yeah. So it doesn't matter if you're coming from a reservation, your family's in real estate or not, the self-limiting beliefs. And that's where this show is all designed to just show people like, hey, anything's possible.
Yeah. So you know how usually when you look at, seem like on, let's say Selling Sunset, you watch Selling Sunset and there's all these females that are like wealthy, and not to throw a race card in there, but they're like white.
Okay. Yeah.
And obviously like we're minorities. So how did you overcome that?
Being a minority in the industry?
Mm-hmm.
I don't ever look at anything as an objection or as anything limiting. So if I'm 27 years old, I'm never going to look at myself like as I'm young. If I'm Asian, I'm never going to look at it as like something that's going to hold me back. I think I don't limit myself. Going back to the self-limiting beliefs, like I never look at it as like, oh, I'm a woman, or I'm emotional, or I am Asian, or I'm young. I never look at any of those things. And I think when we keep looking at the details, it stops us from the actual thing that's there, because you're focusing on things to give yourself an excuse. I think so.
100%.
I love that.
Yeah, I agree as well, because I think that those are fuels. Like that could be fuel to your fire. Like, oh, because I dealt with this young, like we'll say ageism, right? You have people that put you into a box because you're a certain age, and they say, oh, well, you don't know because this, that, and another thing, right? Like your old broker would say, oh, well, you don't know, and this is a brand. This is where, well, it's like, wait, hold on. You don't know because we are evolving as a human species, right? And it's funny how the elders out there, and with all due respect, whoever's listening or viewing, it's the younger generations that are going to form what things evolve to, right? We're gonna keep changing, and so that's where I love the ageism, the race, the whatever it is, and it's just like, oh, well, you watch me because I'm young. Oh, you watch me because you're gonna put me in a stereotypical box, and watch me have, no point intended, lift off with the process of being able to change the status quo and then become the status quo.
Yes.
You know.
All right. So
look at it.
My next question. So, what's next? What are you going to do next after this?
After
you getting your social media down, like, is there like another level you feel like there is that you could go to?
I already have a team. I have a team of 3. I'm really navigating that. I think that it's just my new level of hard, because, in the beginning of real estate, I would get rejected, and I would think that was really hard to, why didn't I get chosen? And then as you evolve in your career, it's now, okay, how am I going to talk to this different personality? How am I going to get them motivated to start producing? How am I going to speak to them? Like, that's my new level of hard, is like trying to scale a team, because prospecting is because you have to be okay with rejection. So that's how you get good at things. So now I'm just putting that in scaling my team side of the way that I get good at scaling a team is just by doing it, and learning the mistakes and learning to fail. So that's my new kind of hard, is just how to talk to different personalities, because when you work with 2, it's like easy, like, okay, works for us. And then you add a different personality, a different dynamic, and it's just like, whoa. And then, emotions in there and everything. It's like, because we're all women, like, oh my gosh. But that's what's next, is just like, how can I scale the team, and how can I make everyone happy and eat? And I think that's what's next in this, is how can I send leads to people in Vegas that are on my team and do the least.
So then what's next from the perspective of like, are you going to have a standard operating procedure or key performance indicators where your team will follow a roadmap based off what you've already done with the social content you already have out there? Or are you going to let them be individualized, or just basically you be the face, like you said earlier, just a second ago, and just hand leads out to them? Like, what's the expectations for anyone out there maybe that wants to join your team?
So if you want to join my team right now, I'm not looking for anyone. But maybe in the future, I just brought on a third person. I do my own social media content. And then the team member that I have, she also does social media content. That is what we're doing and navigating. So she does her own content. I do my own content. I give leads from social media. She's trying to get leads from social media. And that's how we're doing it.
I love that. Yeah, it's a whole different dynamic too, because once you build a team from all the guests that we've had on, it's a different process from working in your business to working on your business, juggling the two, and then going through the process of like getting your content out and then trying to train your team. And sometimes the team could drag you down a little bit. And then also how they represent you as a brand and how they show up is also a key performance indication of additional referrals that can come in depending on how they actually represent you. So that can cause a whole nother piece of the pie as well. I'm 11 years in, and I've met 16,000 plus agents and interviewed 500 agents here at Real Estate First Technology. And we have almost 500 agents across the country at Liftoff Agents. So we've seen everything. And so that's where it's a huge thing why she said, hey, I'm not looking for anyone right now, because that is a hard process, right? To make sure that, and when the questions come in and you're asking the question, answering the questions and doing all the things, you're like, oh my God, it's like, I need to focus on just getting like my job done or my work done for the day. And then now I have all these questions coming in, and then this deal blew up. And so that's a whole nother level of hard, which you're definitely, I can imagine, encountering.
That is so awesome. Here's something I want to semi-ask. Do you think that YouTube would be an option for you?
So I believe in doing things that I find fun, and that's where you'll get my best self, is when it's fun and when it's like happy. I don't think I see fun and happy with YouTube personally, because it's long form, it's sitting. I know my best self is funny. I know my best self is, not home tours. I know it's not showing homes. That's not what I'm good at. What I'm good at is negotiating, being funny. I can't really show that on YouTube. You would have to talk to me for a very long time to see what my skills are and things like that. And I don't think that that's where my best self would be, where you could really see me delighted.
I love that. Awesome. And that's good note take for our viewers and listeners. Like, figure out what you love, and once you find that lane, stay in that lane. Try not to get sidetracked with doing something completely different, because like I'm going down that road right now with YouTube personally, and I love kind of the short form and what you're doing. And then now I'm over here like banging my head against the wall, because I'm a consultative type of person, and then YouTube, it's like hooking them, rehooking them. It's a total different psychological way of going through that process of being able to connect with those viewers. And like you said, it is long form as well. And it's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah. And I've made peace too with the fact that I know someone who has a very successful YouTube, and it's a lot of analytical and logical people. Those people usually have money. And so I've made peace with the fact that I don't want to do YouTube, and I'm okay with not having that clientele, because that's also not where where I strive. Like I said, I can be analytical, I can be those things, but you're not going to be hiring me for numbers. Let's, I'll be the first one to say, you're not going to be hiring me for that. You're going to be hiring me for a good negotiation, someone who's in the industry, who knows the market, not like what cap rates are and ROI and things. I can get that information for you, but if that's what you need from something, it's not going to be me. And I'm okay with making peace that a lot of them are on YouTube.
Yeah. Most definitely. I love that. And what does it look like in the next, we'll say, 5 years, from the perspective of you now have the team, you perfected social media, you're doing a great job, right? And so what does it look like in the future? Is it growing the team so you can sit back and do more of the content and not transact, or always transact? Like, what does it look like in the future?
I think the future just looks like being able to create a team where I don't hold back in what I give them, and I want them to succeed more than I've had succeeded, because I know that we can succeed as a team further together. And that's the hardest part, is like, how can I get someone to succeed? I want them to do better than me. I want them to succeed, but I also don't want them to leave. Then that's where you have to create the culture aspect of it, and that where people are going to stay. So my goal for the next 5 years is to have the same 3 people I have now, 5 years from now, and maybe have 5 people, like a showing agent, listing agent. And then basically it's all referral based or social media. I can create the content, but it's also, I want to take social media into an aspect of I can sell other things, whether that's like my other things. That's the beauty of social media, is like it's a personal brand, and now you can sell anything. Usually I can't sell to sellers, to realtors, but now I can sell them my workshop course. Usually we're against each other, but now because of the personal brand, I can sell to other people. So that's, I think, where I'm trying to go.
Yeah. You see that with cloud-based brokerages all the time now, building downlines and then developing a team and then not transacting anymore and just serving, say, other agents. And like you see it with GoGo Becky, she's a powerhouse in the industry, and various different individuals like her as well. Opposite would be Ryan Serhant. He barely even transacts anymore unless it's like $100 million deal. So it's amazing how it's changed from the traditional cold calling, single agent, everyone's against each other, to now collaboration, building a personal brand, and being able to serve and support from a different perspective, like the personal brand. Not to mention, I see some of your content, like, you're putting on makeup or whatever else. And I can imagine you getting brand deals with makeup companies or whatever the case may be, where people behind the scenes don't even know that that's a part of the way that you can actually bring in, earn income, because if they click a link on your profile, then they go into, say, whether it's a Amazon referral link or maybe even that referral partner, then you're getting paid for your handbags and for your makeup and for your car, because you exclusively drive BMW, and that's what you see on the big TV shows. I could see that's where you're headed to.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah. I mean, it's only fitting with your brand. I mean, for makeup, cars, handbags, you should get paid for all those things.
Yes, I should.
I'm just saying.
Um,
I love that. I love that. Any more questions from you, Jen? Before we finish up today's episode, it's been absolutely amazing.
Actually, yeah, I do have one more question. I recently saw on your story that you're going to have a workshop soon.
I am
Hear about that.
I'm going to have a workshop on September 12th in Las Vegas, and it's going to be from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. I'm going to be talking about social media, personal branding, my systems, my processes. This year has been very difficult for agents across. It's been my best year yet, and I want to empower other people to know that a tough market it can be your best year yet. A lot of agents are going to leave in tough markets. They don't know what to do. So you can take up more market share if you just flip your brain and flip your mind. And so that is what the workshop is going to be about.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
Congratulations. So that's going to be, what's the date again?
September 12th.
September 12th. If you send us over the link for the viewers and listeners out there on YouTube, we'll put that down below in the description so you can sign up for Celina's Go's event. Celina, I would love to leave our viewers and listeners with one last golden nugget. Is there something that you would like to leave for our viewers and listeners? Of course, you can go back to the episode. There's a ton of things that they can take from this week's episode to be able to apply to their business. But is there anything, a quote, a book, a saying? What would be that final thought that you would like to leave for our viewers and listeners today?
I think the final thought would be that being yourself is enough. You can, not have graduated from college. You can make it. Just believe in yourself and don't try to be someone different. Be yourself.
Boom.
Just be yourself.
Let's go. I love it. Celina Go, thanks so much for being on an episode of Real Estate vs. Technology. Really do appreciate your time today. And for our viewers and listeners, links are down below so they can go ahead and like, follow, connect. Go to the event. It's in September. Follow her journey. You might be getting some referral links for some makeup, some handbags, or what have you. Again, thanks so much for connecting us so we can be able to interview Celina and have her be able to be on the show and be able to pour into our community. Really appreciate that as well.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm honored to be number 502. I really appreciate the questions and what you're doing. And if you guys ever have questions or anything, I will get back to them as soon as I can. But if you DM me with a question about, hey, what do I do here? Or what do I do in this process? Or what would you do here? I'm more than answer to happy any DMs.
I love that. I love that. That's fantastic.
That's
so
awesome.
Thank you also to our viewers and listeners, as it is our intention for you to take things from an episode, apply to your business, have more massive success. Like, subscribe, notification bell. A big shout out to Liftoff Agent for sponsoring our show and our team behind the scenes. It is all the production of the actual show itself. And we will see you all on the next one.